When the dice are in your hand and the stakes are high, every move, every roll, it's your time to fly. Practice like you play, put your heart in the fight. Play like you practice, every roll feels right. Roll to win, let the journey begin. Face the game with the champion's grin. Every step, every turn, it's the fire within. Roll to win, yeah, roll to win. From the tabletop dreams to the battles you chase, every critical moment, it's more than a race. Sharpen your skills, let the dice decide. With courage and will, you'll turn the tide. Roll to win, let the journey begin. Face the game with a champion's grin. Every step, every turn, it's the fire within. Roll to win, yeah, roll to win. Strategy's the key, but heart's the way. Level up your game, make the world your stage. Feel the thrill of the fight where the legends play. Practice and play, they're one and the same. Roll to win, where the story unfolds. The game's in your hands and the dice are gold. Practice like you play and the victory's clear. Roll to win, it's your time right here. Roll to win, let the journey begin. Face the game with a champion's grin. Every step, every turn, it's the fire within. Roll to win, yeah, roll to win. Roll to win. Roll to win, where the story unfolds. The game's in your hands and the dice are gold. Practice like you play, the victory's clear. Roll to win, it's your time right here.
Beau, I called you 2 years ago and said I wanted to interview you for the Tales from the Table series. And you sounded a little bit skeptical, and you said, well, once you get it figured out, know how to do it, call me. And that scared me to death. I was like, I'll never get this good enough for Beau.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to scare you to death, dude.
Well, I mean, it was like, it's been a year since I've even done one of these. And so I'm going to do 3 or 4 more. I've got 3 or 4 more guys lined up to do some interviews with, and people tend to like it. And the main reason I do it is I want to get people who are influential in the craps community, get their story, what they want to be told about them. I want that to be out there, right? I mean, it's not really bragging on yourself, but I want you to tell us how you did it and where you started. So first question, real easy. When did you start playing craps?
You won't believe this. I played my first, you're not going to believe this. I played my first game of craps with my father, a live game at downtown casino Fremont when I was 16 years old. Okay. Now, back in the day, they didn't check IDs too closely, right? So I dressed up in a suit, tie, cufflinks, supposedly to make me look a little older, right? And I remember I'm at the end of the table with these dice. I throw the dice. Cufflink comes off, and I go, oh, my God. I know I'm getting kicked out. I know I'm getting kicked out. Or maybe go to jail. I said, oh, wow. My heart was racing. And the stick man goes, sir, foreign object on the table. Here's your cufflink back. Please reshoot the dice. And Ed, that is the only thing I remember about that session. Is that crazy? See, my dad, he
That
played
is an
craps.
unusual.
It was. Yeah, it was. He played craps when he was in the Navy. And, the old blanket
Okay,
roll
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was on a mine sweep in the Navy. And he was in the bilge, he'd put a pipe, stuff all his money in there. When he got out of the Navy, he had enough money to buy it's either a Model A or Model T Ford, paid cash for it then.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. Yeah. So it's in the
So
bloodline,
what?
I guess.
World War II,
Yeah, it'd have to be, right?
minesweeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the South Pacific. He didn't like
He
the South
bought
Pacific.
he bought a used car.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
I mean, when you said Model A, Model T, I went further back, but I was
Okay,
like,
there you go. So, but in my younger days, when I was in junior high school, I get my lunch money, 35 cents, right? And instead of buying lunch with it, we'd flip coins. Play. If you had three guys to go, odd man wins. So you flip the coin, and if you got tails, everybody else has got heads, you win, right? So we did that, or you go, I'll match you, or you match me on just one-on-one, or we'd lag coins to never really ate lunch, just had to play, right? So then as I got
Right.
older in the high school and stuff, then started playing little cards, all kinds of little card games with friends, and always playing for money, back and forth, back and forth. So it's in my blood. So I guess I got it honestly from my parents. And there you go. What a way to start.
so yeah, I mean, I remember throwing pennies and all that kind of stuff too. So I don't know if anybody even does that.
I don't know.
I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I used to be pretty
Wait,
good
hey,
at
we
it.
do a
we'd
class
pitch 'em
on
right up. Who would ever get closest to the wall, right?
Right, exactly.
That's what we always did. You pitch pennies. Sometimes we go to nickels and quarters even.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. As you build your
get it on
bankroll.
up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, got to build that bankroll. And so gambling starts young.
it does. It really does. It's
Bankroll
crazy.
management. Bankroll management is important from day
Yep.
one,
It is.
even if it's pitching pennies.
That's right. It's absolutely, because you're out of pennies, you got nothing to pitch. So there you
So
go.
at some point after that, what happened? I mean, you start going to the casino without your dad, I suppose, or did you keep going with your dad?
I went a few times with him after I was 21. Back then, it was, a lot of blackjack and craps, both back
Yeah.
and forth.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, when I was in my early 20s and stuff, blackjack, you could play the real game and pay 3-2 instead of 6-5, and you could split and resplit and split. I remember Las Vegas Club where you could split up to 5 times, double down, boom, 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 just keep on going. It was
That's
crazy.
a lot.
It is.
That's a
It's
lot.
crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, I got the bug, and one thing led to another, and I had a construction company in California, and I had a lot of discretionary income, and I was anything but an advantage player. So we'd go to Vegas, and either like a lot of these tourists do, they either going to win a lot or lose their ass, right? And I've done both,
Yep.
done both. But
We all
losing-
have. We all have.
Yeah, losing your ass part is not fun. So you start thinking about, is there a better way? Is there a better way, right? So guess what? There is.
There is a better way.
There is a better way.
Definitely a better way. Yeah. What way did you find first?
Well, what I did is, because I was really deep in blackjack, and when we retired when we were 52, we took our sailboat down to Mexico. And after a short time, I got kind of bored. So I was looking at some of Jerry Patterson stuff. You remember Jerry Patterson out of New Jersey, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had the Target program on blackjack. Had the Target program. And so
Okay.
I purchased his Target program, went to some of his classes. And then my wife and I went before we moved to Vegas, we went on a 3-month road trip just playing blackjack. And I won in 27 out of 30 casinos. It was awesome. Just boom. Just one of those things,
Wow.
Yeah, so it's great.
You were on a
that's
good streak.
I was on a great streak. So when we went back, we lived in Mexico for, 3.5 years. And I just got bored. I said, there's got to be more to retirement than this. This is crazy. So I'd fly to Vegas. Leave my wife on the boat in Puerto Vallarta, right? And
Yeah. I
it
mean,
was
there's got to
secure.
be more to life than Puerto Vallarta, right?
Well, yeah, drinking tequila and eating tacos. I mean, how much of that stuff, And we did our own maintenance of
I
the
guess
boat.
it gets old after a while. The
It
good
does.
life gets old after a while, right?
It does. What do you get? They say this is all there is. I mean, crazy, So I'd fly to Vegas, and after my fourth trip, my wife goes, "Well, why don't we just move to Vegas?" And I go, "I don't know if I can do that." She says, "Why not?" So I don't know if I got the discipline. Well, what do you mean? I said, "Well, we can give it a shot." So when we first moved here, I'd get up at 3 a.m. to go play blackjack and look for the Asian players because they're really good players, and join them, play for 2-3 hours, and make $700 or $800, and I'm done for the day. It was awesome.
I used to always look for an Asian player on third base.
There you go, controller.
I always, if I had an Asian on third base, I'd buy in anywhere,
Sure.
and I'd just be doing the best I could because I didn't know all the really, I still don't all the plays, but I'd let that guy try to make that dealer bust.
There you go. He's a table controller right there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Then I ended up doing Jerry's PAR program, PAR, PARR. You know what that is? The Dyson
Patterson.
Influence. Rhythm rollers.
What was it?
Yeah,
Yep,
rhythm Patterson rhythm rollers. Yeah, Patterson, PA Patterson rhythm rollers. And that's when Chris Palicki was with them.
Sharpshooter,
Chris Palicki, right? Yep. Went through all that stuff, and went to some of their seminars and saw Chris doing his thing. I told Jerry, I said, and I did some stuff with Jerry back and forth, but he was a kind of a control freak. He didn't want to relinquish any reins of anything. You know what I mean? So I told him, I said, well, I'm going to venture out on my own here. And one of his seminars, I showed him, I already had my website set up. I didn't tell him yet. And I showed him a pair of dice, our logo, dicecoach.com on it. He goes, oh, wow, because he didn't have any logoed dice. He just, he would have just not even brand new dice with his, he paid for his PAR program. And with that, you get a practice table and all that, right? And he'd send you some dice, but they were some of them were canceled. Some of them were.
I was going to say, he's probably using canceled dice.
Well, they were used. They were really used dice. And then I got to looking at them, and he had A dice mixed up with B dice. Well, that won't work. That will not work at all. So
a lot of people don't even know the difference between A dice and B dice.
You're absolutely right. You know what the difference is?
If they get B dice, they think they've got some kind of rigged dice or something.
Well, if you do it like, for instance, if you're doing it 3V, it's upside down. The V is pointed the opposite direction that you're used to on A dice. So how you tell it is you take the pips, take the 3 and the 2. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah. Get a little higher than we can. Yeah.
A little 3 and a 2 here. See the 3 and a 2? Forms an arrow here, right here, to the 6. Forms an arrow to the 6. On the B dice, the same 3-2-point arrow to the 1, to the single pip.
Right.
So you can line them up. You can do the 3V, and on the A dice, it'll be pointed in one direction, the V. The B dice, very same thing, it'll be pointed backwards. Now, if you mix them up.
See that in Tahoe, I think.
Well,
if you mix them up, then
well, you can't.
If you mix them up, then you're screwing up your sets.
Well, here's what happens. I'll tell you right now. Do a 3V with an A and a B together. We're going to have a 6 and 8 and 2 7s. And you're going to have 2 7s. I'm telling you, you're going to have 2 7s. That does not work. So the casinos would never do that. They would never do that. But even in Vegas, at Paris one time, was one of the later shifts. They were using B dice. And on the earlier shifts, they were using A dice. And that's fine. Doesn't matter as long as you know.
Yeah.
So you don't get freaked out and think, well, you're cheating me. Well, they're not cheating. It's just a different way of arranging the pips, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, they do that, I guess, to throw off the cheaters back in the day, that kind of thing.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But
they got to have a reason for trying to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to, skate a new dice in or whatever.
It's not worth going to jail for, man.
Nope.
You'll be hauled.
Not at all.
You'll be hauled to the Gray Bar Motel, right?
Right. So anyway, I interrupted your story, but yeah, Jerry was giving you dice, and they were all screwed up. They had canceled dice and A's
Yeah, I
and
showed him
B's
my
and
dice, and he saw. He said, well, what'd you pay for those? I told him I spent about $4,000 for my first order. And he go, oh. He says, you'll take those to the grave with you. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you don't have a book. I said, well, you got this little 1995 paperback, little cheesy little book, Jerry, but you don't have a website. And he didn't, right? I said, but you don't have a website.
Right.
I got a website. Check this out. And he goes, oh, wow, okay. So he said, well, would you mind wholesaling me some of your dice, brand new dice? I said, absolutely. I'll give them to you at my cost all day long, right? So I did. A few months go by, he calls me up on the phone. He says, hey, we got a problem. I said, what? He said, I'm buying your dice, but I'm advertising your website on dicecoach.com because they're written all over the dice. I said, well, yeah. But you got new dice, right?
Of course.
So there you go. So that was kind of funny. So that was hilarious, as a matter of fact. So then he quit. He didn't want to buy my dice anymore.
Obviously I never knew Jerry. I've heard numerous stories, but I've never heard that story before. That's funny that he didn't realize he was advertising Dice Coach when he was buying your dice and giving them out to his students. That's funny.
And don't forget, it's got to be dicecoach.com. I might as well throw that in there too.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. So
Gotta be.
So as time went on, I was retired. I'm in Vegas, but you can't just play all the time. You got to do something else. So I decided I went to dealer school. The Ace is full. It's not even in business anymore. Ace is Full Academy, and that's where Jerry held some of his seminar classes there on the tables, blah, 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 right? So
Right.
Doug was the manager. I remember him vividly. So I went there. I took blackjack. I got my certificate in blackjack, and I got my certificate in craps. And so I was going to go audition just for the shits and giggles, right? And I went out and I go, you know what? I'm not going to make it. I wouldn't last a week in the casino because I've never worked for anybody before. I've always had my own business. Right. So I'm pretty opinionated, and I knew I'd get sideways with management about the end of the first week. So why aggravate myself? So I never did go get an audition, because I don't want to deal full time. I don't want a full time job.
I can't see you on the other side of the table anyway. I just can't.
No. I wouldn't want to be. I mean, look, that's a grueling job for those dealers.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean,
everything.
I don't say terrible, but you're on your feet. At least you get a 20-minute break every 40 minutes, but still.
It's still grueling. Yeah. And then you got to put up with the people. You got to
dealing with idiots.
You got to put up with bad attitudes. You got to put up people blowing smoke in your face. You got to put up people that are drunk, and you can't argue with the drunk. And it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So that's why I never did pursue that. So then, when I was doing one of Jerry's seminars, he had Frank Scobletti there. Heavy was there. Everybody was there. Like 140 people were there. Okay.
Well, yeah, everybody just show up in droves, didn't they?
This one particular, he advertised it pretty good, and Frank Scobletti was there, and Heavy showed up, and I don't know, a whole bunch of other people were there, right? So I said, Jerry, I said, and by then I had bought a table. When we lived in Summerlin, I had a table. I got it from the Fiesta Hotel Casino in North Las Vegas, which is not there anymore. I used to play on that table, and I went in there one day, and they said, we're going to get rid of this table because we're going to put a 14-footer in. I said, great, bring me your table games manager, and I'll buy it. And so he came over there, and I said, how much you want for it? He says, $3,200. I said, okay, here you go. Here's 32. Oh, no, we can't do it like that. I said, what do you mean? Well, we haven't got our table yet. I said, I understand. Give me a receipt for the table, and when it comes in, here's my address, deliver it. Well, we can do that. Okay, great. The reason why I bought the table, this is no kidding, I've never had a losing session on that table. I used to play that table 2 to 3 times a week. So, I mean, I wasn't killing them, but I was consistent. And I sentimental value. I bought it because it was sentimental value. So then I put it in my garage. This is when we had a smaller house. And I go, if I'm going to start teaching this, I can't really do this in a garage. So I had to carpet in my garage. I put in air conditioning in my garage, and it still was.
You need that in Vegas.
Yeah, you need that in Vegas. Yeah, absolutely. So in one of his seminars, I said, Jerry, let me borrow the mic for 2 minutes. He said, why? I said, I want to promote dicecoach.com. and see if I can get some signups for this next weekend. He said, oh, you'll never be able to do that. I said, well, give me the mic. He gives me the mic. I'm up there in 3 minutes, give my spiel, sign up 16 people for that Saturday and 16 people for the next Sunday. Holy catfish. Wow, right? It was awesome. He couldn't believe it either. I couldn't believe it. That many, right? Well, in those days, I did, I'm really rusty at that point in time as far as teaching. I got the syllabus, pages of syllabus, right? Which is not the way you do this thing. It was just very awkward. So over the course of time, obviously I got a lot better. So I'm comfortable now. I don't need a cheat sheet. I don't need a syllabus. I don't need a blah, blah, blah. Just let's put the class together. So nowadays, when you do a class, as you know, you've worked with me before.
Yep.
When I do classes, they may start and be a little different than the last class or the next class. Depends on the clientele. Depends on what they want to get out of the class. Your starting point may be different every time. You can't just have a cold.
Your clientele goes from what I would call your traditional blue-collar player who just is going, trying to, bankroll manage, come out of Vegas with a, even or up to all the way up to whales, I guess, right? In the game.
I get to,
big players.
I've had clients that buy in for $40,000. I've had clients that buy in for $40. So there you go. And all you're doing, it's no big deal. All you're doing is moving the decimal point one way or the other. Same thing. The math works. The math does not change, right?
That's correct.
That's correct. So, because people are like, well, how can you figure that? How do you figure that, Pat? Well, all you do is just move it. It's the same thing. Take a simple bet. It's going to payout's going to be the same. Move your decimal point, and there's your answer. Boom. So there you go. Don't complicate
I've said that for years. People go from 15 to 150. It's just a zero.
Yeah.
25 to 250. It's just a zero. I mean, it's no different. Math's always the same. It's just ladders.
It doesn't change. Oh, so you got your Casino Tiers sign-on behind you.
I do. That stays up behind me.
And I got my Casino Tiers
the 10
shirts.
ton is number one.
Yeah, see my casino.
There you go.
There you go. See my Casino shirt. I gotta have my Casino Tiers shirt on, right? By the way, which is the best podcast around.
Thank you. You'll be closing out season 1, I understand, with our episode 50.
Yeah, a couple of weeks
here. In a couple of weeks.
10 tons in, right? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we recorded. Yeah, looking forward to season 2. I can't wait. But can you believe that's been a year?
No.
I can't.
Because let's see, I met 10 ton about almost a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Because he saw.
I think I sent him to you. I don't know. I can't remember if I sent him to you or not.
He heard me on Craps for the Cure. Craps for the Cure. And he liked what I had to say, so he sends me an email along with his phone number. And he said, hey, dude, I'm writing a book. I want to interview you. 10 tons number 1.
Yeah. Who are you?
And I go, who in the heck is 10 ton is number 1? Who is this guy? I didn't email him. I called him. I want to know who he is, right? And he couldn't believe I called him.
Yeah.
And so I get him on the phone. I said, look if you want to interview me, you're going to have to come out and take a private class. That's all there is to it. Okay. So he comes out, takes a couple classes. And we hit it off. I mean, we just hit it off like boom. And that's where we ended up.
Hell of a guy.
Oh, it's a heck of a guy. Oh, he's a jewel. He's just we from the energy standpoint, we just blew it up together. It was awesome. It's awesome.
He enjoys making me look like the dummy. Yeah, because he's always chatting, and it's funny. I just laugh. It's just funny.
Yeah, but he's a good guy.
Anyway,
Sure.
So where were we? We were way back.
We were at Patterson, and I got all these people to take my class, and he couldn't believe it.
You had 18 and 18 or whatever. It was crazy.
16,
back
16.
In your garage.
Yep. Awesome. So that was kind of fun. That's where this whole thing started right there.
Yep. Let's see if you can see this one. Can you see that?
Wait, something's happening over here. Yep. I see that.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was when I wore glasses. So when I had my cataract surgery, I didn't have to wear glasses.
You had. All right, now check this one out. Now let me blow this one up. You see that one?
Go. Yep.
That's you Heavy and Irish setter.
It is.
Is that in your garage?
Let's see. This one is, it looks like it, yes.
So that was in your previous home.
Yes.
Where you had decided to teach class in garage, right? Did my share go? Okay, here we go. That's you having a class with Heavy.
That is right.
Yeah. And there was one, I don't know if I've got a picture of it coming up or not.
Now that is in this house. That's where I'm at.
It is?
Yes.
That's in this house. Okay.
That's in this house now, yes.
Anybody you recognize there from way back in the day that you want to talk about real quick?
You could recognize. So I've had so many people in here, Ed. It's just.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievable.
Just checking.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Heavy's bald on top of his head, but he's still got some side hair left.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Yeah. Let me bring up another one and see what I see here.
See, that's what
I've always liked.
Felt was green, and now it's burgundy. It hasn't changed yet.
All right, hang on. I may have to reshare.
Yeah, I recognize the faces, but I don't remember their names. I remember you. I see you right now.
That would be you and Heavy at a class still, probably the same class.
Yep. Now let's see. Let me look at this. This
got all kind of stuff hanging on the wall up there.
Yes,
y'all were giving away something.
This is in the garage.
Well, that was back in the old garage.
Yeah, that was in the garage.
So you and Heavy used to do a lot of classes together, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we did.
Everybody knows why they call him Heavy if they look at that picture.
I think he's heavier now than he was then.
You know, he's lost some weight last time I saw him.
Really?
Yeah.
Good old boy from Texas, right?
Yeah. Let me try one more here.
These in the back, up here in the back on the wall. See those two things up there? Those were blown up checks that I'd won some blackjack tournaments.
Oh, so you were serious with blackjack.
Yeah, I did a lot of tournaments. It was great.
All right, so let me bring up one more share real quick. I can't find the other one I was looking for real quick, but we'll bring this one up, and I'll have to probably blow it up into a bigger picture. Where is it? Where's that? Let me see.
I remember one tournament. So this was at Texas Station when I was here, before they blew it up.
Yeah.
It was the last hand, right? And I had pocket eights, and I split them against tens, and that's what won me the tournament. Well, I had to resplit, so I had 18, and I had like 4 hands at 18, and everybody goes, "Oh, that's dumb. He's gonna beat you." I says, "No, he's got a 6 in the hole. He's gonna break." Turned over a 6, and he broke. It was awesome. It was awesome, right? Put the will into it. Positive thinking. I won the tournament. So my host comes up. He said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Bring me a bottle of champagne, please." Okay, he did.
There you go. One last picture.
Uploading. Uh-huh.
You and Howard.
That's Howard. Yeah, he always had a blue shirt on.
Day.
Always had a blue shirt. That was it. That was in my garage. That's in my garage.
Rumor has it Howard found a deal on blue shirts.
Yeah, I believe it.
Bought all of them.
Yeah, bought them all, right?
I mean, I've never seen him in anything but a blue shirt.
Yeah, it was his favorite color, I guess.
Great guy. We miss him.
Absolutely. Yep.
You and him were good. You and he were good friends as well, correct?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I talked him into getting his website going in Florida.
Good for you. I'm glad you did.
Matter of fact, it's right here. Yeah, it's
okay. It's just back to me and you.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are.
There was a picture. I don't know where it's at. It's on my computer somewhere. I don't want to look for it. But you and Heavy were teaching a class, probably in your garage, and you had these little mechanical these little mechanical things that you would use on the table, look like a field goal or to train you to throw over the the rail, like to kick in a field goal to get your line of sight for your height for your apex of the dice. Back in the day, quote unquote, you used devices like that, and I rarely see them. I see them somewhere on the internet every now and then, some Yahoo selling them.
Sure.
But back in the day, you used to use those kind of devices just to kind of help train muscle memory, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Problem is,
Do you think it worked?
well, it works to a certain extent, yes, but nowadays there's so many different tables that the dice respond differently on that you're all over the board as far as your apex. You got a lot. You have more throws with less arc in them nowadays. It seems to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get them to respond,
Well,
behave well.
Back in the old days, I'm going to put quotes around that because I'm
Okay.
old too.
Yeah, we're all old.
When we had traditional felt tables,
Great, felt. Yeah.
sharpshooter always said, etc., that you needed that 45-degree launch angle, 45-degree down, and that works pretty good on those tables.
Not now.
But now that we've gone to this microfiber, it's more in that 30 to 35-degree range. It's a less loft than it used to be.
Absolutely. No, it is.
What do you think?
No, absolutely. No, it's a lot less. And it's even lesser than that on a lot of tables too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
especially if they're bouncy.
Unfortunately, at the Virgin, none of that worked for us.
Now you just might as well take a shotgun and shoot the table.
Yeah, we should.
I mean, that's
No, that was just that. There was no skill, no influence in that table. You just had to be really, really, really lucky. And I don't like
extremely.
We like some luck, good luck, right? But you'd rather use mostly skill and create your own luck.
Yeah, and some of the better skill that night, Memo, for example,
Right.
was there, and he turned around, we talked, and he says, I'm going to try to drop them. And I said, you're going to have to drop them within an inch of the wall for it to work.
That's right.
He said, I think I can do that. And he did it for about 5, 6 tosses, maybe plus or minus, whatever. Really, really close to the wall. I mean, just within half inch of, then he missed. As soon as he missed,
boom.
7 out.
Yeah.
Yep. We all tried everything, all kind of stupid stuff just to make it work. Off axis, on axis, stack.
Everything. In the corner, straight out, whatever. Yeah.
Way off topic, but I'm in Biloxi last weekend, and I saw a guy doing the old flip toss.
Okay.
I hadn't seen that in a long time. Have you?
No.
Do you remember that toss?
Yeah, I do. I had a student that wanted to use that. I mean, okay. You like random,
Well, that's what I kept thinking. I mean, I hadn't, like I say, I haven't seen that toss. I mean, this guy would set them, and then he would throw them over this way.
Yeah.
And
looks very
I'm like,
awkward.
oh, it's a crazy looking shot, but he hit a lot of repeaters.
Hey, got a little lucky
I didn't
then.
bet heavy on him because of that shot. But
Sure.
the guy hit some repeaters, and then before I could get on him again, he done colored up. And he had a lot of gray hair. He'd been around a long time.
Been around
you
a
could
long
tell.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, that shot, you don't see that shot from a new guy.
No. Well, I haven't seen anybody use that shot for a long time.
It's been years since I've seen that shot. And he was, I give him credit. The time I was standing at the table, he hit a lot of repeaters. That's all I can
There
say.
you go. That's all you can
But
say.
he knew when, and I also give him credit because he knew when to color up and get off the table.
That's right. That's good. So when he got
He was up.
when he finished, he colored up. He didn't wait around.
No, he and the guys with him. There were 2 other guys with him, and they claimed they were going to dinner with their wives, which is what I always claim when I'm coloring up.
Sure.
I don't know whether they did or not. I never saw him again after that night. But
Wow.
they were doing the old. He was doing that old flip shot over the. I don't know what do you want to call it, but yeah. Flip shot.
Crazy.
So, you and Heavy did a lot of classes together for a long time, right? Up in
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Vegas. And I'm assuming that was a pretty good congenial effort.
Yeah, it worked out well. Yeah, for the time that we did it. Yeah.
And you and Howard
Yeah. Did
were
a few
close
yeah.
friends. Probably y'all did classes together too?
We did some classes, not a lot.
Yeah.
A few. Yeah. Did more with Heavy than
But
anybody
you
else.
knew Howard.
Yeah.
More classes with Heavy, but you were probably a closer friend with Howard, I guess, maybe. Am I right or wrong?
I don't know. I
Maybe
knew them
not.
both. I knew them both really, really well. So I knew them both about the same amount of time too. So I can't really, have a bias one way or the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody came up together back then.
It did. Exactly.
So did Patterson ever get over the fact that you were starting your own deal?
Well, about that time, that's when Scobletti got into the picture, and he kind of like him and the Dominator kind of took over Patterson's operation. I don't know if it was congenial or a hostile takeover or whatever, but anyway, it ended up that way. So that's where that was. And yeah, Frank and Dom, we did a thing together.
Really?
Yeah, and Soft Touch. We did an A&E thing. So Frank wanted to make it all about him, and they said, no, it's about me. I invited those guys on board, and then Frank tried to take the whole thing over. But anyway, they started Golden Touch. We did a couple things with him, and he wanted me and Debbie to join him. And I said, nah, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Like I told you before, I've never worked for anybody before, and that would not have worked out. Trust me. God bless those guys over there. That's fine, right? Yeah, Soft Touch.
Yeah.
She lives in San Antonio.
Let's talk about Soft Touch. All right, she's back in Texas. Beautiful lady. You and her played a lot of craps together.
We did.
And y'all talked together, did you?
Yes, we did.
Good. Okay. Glad my
you remember
brain still works.
Your cognitive is working.
I'm working. Don't lock me up yet. I'm still working.
There you go.
Let's talk about you and Debbie, because she is a person of lore in this game. Debbie Soft Touch, one of the best handles ever out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes 10-ton go crazy. She was kind of close to the Mad Professor, right?
Well,
or am I mixing that up with?
Well, they have all of his articles are archived on dicecenter.com, right?
All right.
As speaking of Mad Professor, he was in my house before, but I don't know who he is because he was using a pseudo name. He could walk in here with two other people. I wouldn't be able to pick him out. I'm telling you. So he was very low key. He didn't want everybody to know who he was.
Before we get off on him, because I'm going to ask some questions, let's go back to Debbie, because Debbie had a great reputation. You and her were good friends. Right. Talk to me about Debbie and how she played craps and how you two kind of gelled together on a table, that kind of thing.
Well, I met her through one of Jerry Patterson's deals. That's where I met her, on one of his seminars. And that's when we held the Dominator. Everybody was there in those days. And that's when she and I got to know each other, and we became really, really good friends. And then one thing escalated to another. She'd come over here at least twice a month. And then she'd bring her sister with her sometimes, and they'd stay at our house with us. And so it was pretty cool. I remember one night we were at Treasure Island, and it was like 3:00 in the morning, and we could not do diddly. And so we ran into one of our students from Panama. Okay. And I said, hey, look, we need a good shooter. We can't do anything tonight. And he's at stick left 2. I said, we need you to go over there and light this table up for us. We're stuck pretty good. All right. So we get up there, and the student came through for us. He lit him up. Boom, we had a blast. We got all done, basically broke even for the night. Now, where do we park the car? Okay, it's a multi-story parking garage, and I forgot what floor it was on. Soft Touch had boots on that night, and her feet were killing her. I said, man, we're going to have to go through these floors one by one till we find the vehicle. So that took quite a while, but that was another little story, right? Yeah. Crazy stuff we do.
I can relate to losing a car in a parking deck at a casino.
Yeah. I always look. I look twice. As a matter of fact, sometimes I'll even take a picture of the floor, right?
That's what I do a lot.
There you go.
I do that a lot now.
So you can't get confused.
I lost mine one time there. I'm at the Hard Rock. I mean, I know that place like the back of my hand, but I'm there during Cruising the Coast weekend.
Okay.
And that's when everybody in North America and half of Central Asia brings in any hot rod they've ever owned.
Sweet.
Into the coast. And they just cruise around, all these old fancy cars. They all, they're loud. And for some reason, they'll pick a garage to go just run through every floor. They'll climb every floor and then come back down. I mean, they're gunning it and they're revving the engines. and I'm trying to find my car because I'm staying there, but I left stuff in my car, and I'm hitting the alarm button,
Sure.
and I can hear it go off for a minute, but I can't tell if it's up or down because of all the noise I got going. I hit it again. I go and I hang my head outside, the parking deck. They hit it again. I think it's up. And then you hear all this, it took me an hour to find my car. It was crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not a good feeling when you lose your car
No
right
kidding.
there in the middle of the dead gum.
No.
Yeah. So, but y'all used to play together a lot there in Vegas, correct?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
You and Debbie?
Yep.
Do you have any other favorites that played with you and Debbie?
Michael Vernon played with us a lot. He has playing for keeps. He's really into the metaphysical energy part. Big time.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good guy too. He's got playing for keeps. I don't think he teaches anymore though. And Debbie's retired now too.
Yeah.
So
how's she doing health-wise? She doing okay these days?
Yeah, she was out here 2 weeks ago. We had dinner with her husband. And yeah, she's doing fine.
Talk her into coming out there the next time I'm there. I'd love to meet her. I might even get an autograph on an old picture I've got on my computer.
Oh, there you go. Well, when you come out, we'll see.
That would be a neat thing.
I'll let her know. Maybe she could do a debut.
I've got a picture. Maybe it was Mad. Maybe I've got a picture of her with, is it Mad Dog? I'm one of the two. Mad Professor, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog, probably Mad Dog.
I got a picture of her. That's all I got. I mean, I
Okay.
might print it off and get her to autograph it. Hang it on my wall right behind me next to 10 Ton is number 1.
There you go. Maybe I could talk to her and have her come to the cocktail party on our March gig.
Fabulous. I'll buy you a pseudo drink for that.
I bet you would. Awesome.
All right, we keep going forward, and we still got to get back in the history
we keep
a little
backing
bit.
up. That's fine, but that's what it's all about, right? Makes it interesting.
We're just having a conversation.
That's all we're doing.
We're back porch talking. Porch talking is what we're
just
doing.
Reminiscing.
What else back in that time frame? All right, so you and Howard taught, you and Heavy taught, but you have always been in demand, I think. And like I say, and it varies from what I call the blue collar all the way up to the big whales in this game that want to come in, get a tune-up, get a class, learn how to play, learn how to toss. I think taking a class or getting certified, whatever, as a dealer was a bonus as a teacher for you, because I'm a terrible dealer. You've seen me try to deal. I'm a terrible dealer.
Well, that's not the whole point of teaching the class is the deal, right? Make the right bets at the right time. Payouts will come.
Right. My favorite dealer in Mississippi says that he's not really, and he says, all I do is move your game pieces.
Yep.
If you're playing a board, if this is a board game, all I'm doing is moving the pieces.
Some you get to keep and some they get to keep.
Yep. They get to keep a lot of them sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
So you've been teaching classes at home, either at your previous home or at this one, for how many years now?
What is this, 25? I've been teaching for about 23 years, a little over 23 years. And I'm doing it because I love it. And it breaks the monotony up of, playing full time and so forth. I like to play. I like to teach. I like to get the results back from the students. Tell me how you did. Give me a trip report. If you have any questions, any problems, let me know. How can we help you? Improve your game. I get like a 60% return on clients coming back. And that's great. And pre-COVID, I was doing 30 to 40 students a month. That's, added up to the end of the month, that's a lot of students. Got a good majority.
Yes,
I get a lot of referrals from word of mouth too. Plus the website, and goes on and on,
Let's talk about some of the most memorable sessions with some of your students. What sticks out in your mind?
Well, there's a couple of them. When we were doing
I'm sure.
When we were doing the A&E shoot, me and Debbie, we was on a Saturday, or was it a Sunday? Might have been a Sunday. We took a break. My son was in town. We went to brunch, and we ended up at Treasure Island. And so It was me, my son, and Debbie. In those days, there was not very many 20. They were mostly nickel tables. They had about 3 nickel tables there full, and there was one $25 table sitting there empty. I said, well, hell, let's just jump on the $25 table. Ran into a couple of my students from New York, him and his brother. And he says, hey, do you mind if we join you? I said, oh, come on, let's go. Let's go do our thing. His name was Tommy, right? And he's also a bookie.
Ah.
Nice guy, right? So he wanted to sign a marker, and it took him forever to bring him a marker. And he bought in for like, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000. Well, Soft Touch got the dice first. She was stick right 2. And she's throwing the dice. She holds the dice for almost an hour.
Nice.
45 minutes go by, and he's, oh, here's your marker. He says, I don't need it now. After 45, I don't need it now, right? So, okay. So the ironic thing, at the end of a roll, you know how I call my bets off when I see like a midnight or snake eyes or whatever? Well, she hadn't thrown any craps. Very few. All of a sudden, here comes midnight after about an hour. And I go, you know what? All bets are off. I told everybody, call your bets off, pick up your odds, because here comes the big red. Boom, we all did that. And an hour roll, Ed, as you know, there's going to be table maxes out there. And boom, all bets were called off, odds were picked up. Boom, there's the 7. And the casino about crapped. So now we've got 3 suits watching the game. That's when they had a box man then. And the box man, don't forget the eye in the sky. So I get the dice. I'm throwing the dice. Tommy's got $1,000, 8 or a 6. I forget which one it was. He calls his bet off. I hit the 8 or the 6. They pay him the 7,000, and he looks at me. He says, like, what do I do? And I just shrug my shoulders. Let your conscience be your guide. Because I figure it's not going to be a problem. If they pay him, they're going to get their money back because they got the box man there watching the game. They got 3 suits there watching the game. They got the eye in the sky watching the game. They paid him the 7th. He picks it up, puts it in his rack. Then I get the dice, and he tells the dealer that just paid him, I'm working now. Wouldn't that be a clue for you? I'm working now.
That would be a clue.
So, okay, turns him back on. So I'm thinking, all right, well, with 10 or 15 minutes, the phone's going to ring in a minute. And they're going to say, hey, we want our 7,000 back, right? Never rang. It never happened. So they were this is in the day. This was years and years ago, okay? This is in the day where they were so concerned about us setting dice, making sure we weren't cheating, which we weren't. We'd never want to cheat, and making sure we absolutely hit the back wall. They were so concerned over that everybody missed the payout on a bet. Can you believe that? That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I see it in much smaller increments, but you see those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Conscience be your guide. I have no conscience at the table.
Well, I have
no conscience.
Well,
now,
but wait a minute.
For example.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Give me an example, and I'll give you an example.
Well, last weekend when I was there was a field bet out there, and they were paying everybody, and it was like a 5, 6, or 8. I forget what was thrown. And then they look at that, and he asked me, he said, did you just put that down there? And I went, no. All right, he asked me a direct question. I told him the truth, right? So, no, I did not put that down there. But if he had not noticed it and left it out there, and the next roll was a 12, I'd be sitting there tapping the front of it. Give me my money.
Okay, let me tell you my little 12 story in the field. I'm at the end of the table. There was a guy next to me. He's got a rack of black chips, okay? It's his birthday. And all he was doing was making stupid bets, and every once in a while he'd throw one in the field. Losing. He's down to his last $300. Now, I'm next to him. I don't have any black chips. I've got only green chips, right? So he puts 300 in the field. The 7's rolled. Boom. He takes off. They clear the board, and there's 300 sitting in the field. Okay, nobody says anything. The dice are at the opposite end of the table. The next shooter gets the dice. Guess what he throws at his first roll? Midnight. And that's when they paid triple. So they put 3, 6, 900 there, and they said, there's your bet. And I go, dude, do you see any black chips in my rack? No. Okay, so remember the guy next to me with all the black chips that he lost? Yeah. That was his bet that you forgot to pick up. And then the pit boss comes over and says, whoa, 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 what just happened? So, okay, now the game has stopped. I explained to him, they pulled that guy off the table, probably wrote him up because he wasn't paying attention, but it wasn't my $900. And I wasn't going to take something like that. That's not mine. So it's not a life-changing thing. But now, did I do the right thing? Because I probably got the dealer in trouble. The right thing to do would probably take the money and split it with the dealer. But then that's almost like collusion. You don't want to do that either.
No, you don't want to be caught with that either.
No, exactly. So it was a sticky wicket. But I will say, if I'm in the game and because I call my bets off a lot. This has happened before. Call my bets off, and in the heat of the game, the dealer pays you. I was off. Don't pay me. I'm not going to take your money that way. Because if you start taking it, then they're not going to let you call your bets off or not let you play there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever see it at large numbers, but.
No, but when it can happen, it happens every once in a while.
And last thing I want to do is get a dealer in trouble just because they're in a hurry or because they're under pressure. I don't want to, Now, if they underpay me, I'm going to go tap, 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 that kind of thing.
Or even if they overpay
I'm not going to cool a shoot.
If they overpay, I'm not going to say anything either. Are you? If they overpay, I'm not going to say anything.
No,
because you're not there to train the dealer.
No, I'm not. It's not my job.
That's right.
But if they underpay me, I'm going to remind them. But I'm not going to make a big deal if it's going to cool the shooter. I'll be like, never mind, because it's usually change. It's usually change.
Exactly.
When that happens. All right. So that was one good. Tell me the next one, because you said you had a couple that came to mind when you were playing with.
Well, I had one. I made a late bet on a 9. I bet $50 on the 9, and the 9 was rolled. And he pays me out of order, and goes around and pays it. He pays me again, and then then the pit boss came over and said, "Hey, did you pay him?" And he goes, "Did I pay you?" "Yes, you did. Everything is cool." Very good. So I didn't say a thing. I just,
absolutely.
If you want to pay me twice on that bet, that's fine. Pay attention. Pay in order. Don't take late bets. It was a late bet. Get those late bets in early, right? It is some strange things. I was at one game. What was it on the Strip? It was at which casino was it? I think it was the Flamingo. Yeah, it was a Sunday morning. Whole table full of millennials. Everybody's drunk. I mean, drunk. The dealer's not really paying attention, and there's a guy in the corner next to the dealer, pass posting in the field, and the dealer's paying him. And the dealer's paying him. And I'm looking, I'm going, are you kidding me? And I looked at the dealer. I said, dude. He goes, what? I said, see that guy there? He said, he's pass posting on you. No. Yeah, he goes, whoa. He said, hey, you can't be doing that stuff. I mean, you see some strange stuff. Strange stuff. Why would you do that? That's bad karma, man.
Why would a dealer allow that? Unless they're just mad at who they work for.
That could be.
They're going to lose their job. They're going to get caught.
Sure.
I mean,
absolutely.
They're going to get caught.
The eye in the sky will pick that up.
Yeah, eventually they're going to be like gone. It's like all those people on those tables with the glass top or whatever you want to call it, roll to win tables.
Yeah, roll to win.
Which is my channel.
That's right there. Because you got right there, roll to win.
Yeah.
Well, we don't go there, roll to lose. What would you have?
No.
A website? Roll to lose. No, roll to win.
I did a whole series on. I came to roll to win, folks. I didn't come here to roll to lose.
That's right.
But there's been some collusion with those folks where they delay entering the numbers until somebody that's their friend can post a bet. So I think that's part of the reason. I mean, I don't even know if there's one left in Mississippi. I mean, if there is, I don't know where it's at. All of them in Biloxi are gone. Tunica, they're gone. And I can't speak for like Vicksburg. I haven't been there in years and years and years. So probably gone. I mean, the tables, nobody liked them at all. And I didn't like them. I played on them once. I played on more than once. But the first time I rolled at it like a 26 hand, I went, oh, this is like gravy. After that, I decided there's no camaraderie. There's no interaction. Everybody's stuck in their own little cubicle with their own little screen. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
So, have you ever played on them?
No. I like the real deal. I don't like the.
The real deal is best.
Yeah, I think so.
Favorite places in Vegas? What's your favorite places?
Keeps changing, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I used to really like Bally's before they changed it to Horseshoe. I like Paris better than Bally's now. I like actually Bellagio better than either one of them.
Yeah.
I like the
I don't
tables. They just
disagree with you.
refelted all the tables in Bellagio.
How's the bounce now?
Beautiful.
Still good?
Still very good.
Okay.
Very good. The only problem is the layout, the line for the odds and the back wall, you got like 1.5 inches, and that's it. Yeah. Like you said, a 14-foot layout and a 12-foot table.
I hate it when they do that.
I know.
I don't know whether they do that on purpose or whether they just misordered, because you need 6 inches at least.
Well, yeah, you got to have some maneuvering room. You don't want to hit the chips of the dice, or maybe they
Nope.
want you to.
All right,
about
yeah,
that.
maybe they decide they want. Yeah, maybe they want you to hit chips. There's a
Hit-
way around that too, though.
Hit the money that dice. Yeah, go into the corner. Till
Yeah,
the
if
hook,
they'll
till
let
Joe,
you.
till Joe comes up to you and says, "Hey, you can't be doing that."
Tell me about Joe, because you and Joe have a history going all the way back to
Treasure Island.
Circus.
Not Treasure Island. Yeah.
Treasure Island. Okay.
Yeah. He was a pit boss there, and he used to always give me garbage every time I go in there. You know, it's about setting the dice. This is that was 20-some years ago. You know, he said, "You guys are setting the dice and blah, blah, blah. You're slowing up the game." I said, "Look, we're not slowing up the game. You know, if Mississippi won, Mississippi, if you can't get those dice set in 4 seconds and in the air, there's a problem." And now he tells me, when I talked to him at Bellagio when Tinton and I were there, we're giving them 8 or 9 seconds to set now. I said, "Why are you giving them that much time? That's too much time, dude. You should be
That's
calling
a
out the
long
number."
time.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So where were we?
Where were we? Where were we? We were at.
You were at Circus.
No,
we're talking
about
the
Joe.
guy
No, we're talking about Joe at the
at
Bellagio.
Treasure Island. Yeah.
Because when I first met him, was at Treasure Island. I mean, I'd get the dice and he'd go to the end of the table, and he'd get on his crouch down and look over the rail with his eyes and stare at me, just looking at the dice come at him, right? Just to try to freak me out. And then one time he comes around in the middle of my roll, bumps me, said, "Here's your player's card back." And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm giving your player's card back." I said, "You're stopping the game." He said, "You keep bitching about we're taking too long to throw the dice. Look at you. You just stopped the game." I said, "Joe, I'll tell you what I'm going to do." I set the dice down. I said, "I'll sit here and talk to you." I said, "But you're holding your own game up, you know, so what do you want to do? You want to talk or play craps? Why don't you go back on your side of the playpen over there and behave a little bit." So then he throw the dice, right? So it was this banter back and forth, constantly banter back and forth. I remember one time I went in there, and they're getting ready to close the table. And I had a $1,000 chip left. And I said, "Here, I want to play it. Buy it." He said, "No, we're closing the table." I said, "Come on, let me buy in just for the 1,000, see what happens." "All right." Okay, we'll let you do it. So I hit him for like 3,000 or 4,000 off the 1,000. And they said, "Okay, now I'm leaving. Now you can close your table." And they were pissed because they wanted to close it, and I talked them into leaving it open. So those are kind of fun things. So he remembers all that stuff, right? So at Bellagio, and I didn't even know I didn't even recognize him at first. He was in the pit, 10-ton stick right. Well, supposedly one, but he's like stick right 2.5. The way he positions his toss, I mean, he stretches the way out like a giraffe to hit the inside hook, right? He said he needs that space. I said, "Okay, fine. If you're comfortable, then that's what you do." So he's banging out the numbers. He's having a good roll going. Then Joe comes over and he bumps me. He says, "You remember me?" I looked at him. "Oh, yeah, Treasure Island. Good old Joe." He said, "Well, I said, "Yeah, you live in Summerlin. You got a koi pond. That's what I remember about you. You keep talking about your koi pond." "Oh, how do you remember that?" I said, "Well, because it just triggered off in my head." He said, "There you guys go again, hitting that's part of the back wall, Joe. Come on, get over it." No, we won't let you do that here." I said, "Oh, you're full of crap." So we're back and forth. Meanwhile, Tinton's throwing it, and then he stopped him. And then Tinton thought he was quit. He thought he was kidding. He goes, "You can't do that." Tinton goes, "Oh, yeah, okay, fine." So then he throws it in the, "No, you really can't do that, blah, blah, blah." And Tinton looks at me and goes, "Yeah, he doesn't want you to do that, Tinton. Let me talk to him here a little bit." And so we're bantering back and forth and boom, boom, boom. And Tim does look at me because he's really serious. I said, oh, yeah, he's real serious. And I come to find out he's retiring on the 16th, I think it is, of this month. So
I would crash his party.
yeah, it'll probably be a private party. And he doesn't even get a gold watch. What does that tell you? He doesn't even get a 31-year pin. He's been with them over 30 years. They won't give him a 31 pin because he went to Golden Nugget for a short time in between, semantics, They got the rules, huh?
You know what? If I had a dealer that went to the Golden Nugget, I probably wouldn't much.
Yeah.
Do you play there much?
Golden Nugget, I used to. Not anymore.
Long time ago. No.
Yeah. The best, you know what the best table
They've
is? There?
changed.
At the pool in the summertime, those little tub tables.
The little short one?
Yeah, the little tub table. Sit down. You have to sit down. You can't stand up. You got to sit down. And I was having a nice roll, shooting in the hook, tipping the dealers till the pit boss goes, sir, you can't do that. You got to shoot straight out. And the chips are all over there. And there's little tiny tables, right? Let's take all my bets. Just take everything down, leave the pass line, boom, through, hit the chips. There's a 7. Color me up. I'm out of here. In the main pit, though, they used to have a couple of really good tables in there called the Candy Store. Not no more. No, they're just so bouncy. Kind of like, not as bad as Virgin, but come in close second. They're
Bad
all
enough.
over.
Well, they're down there taking advantage of tourists.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every tourist goes downtown for some period of time, and they want to take their money from them. That's
Sure.
what they do.
It's what they do. It's what they do. But, things change. That's why you can't recommend. You got to go actually play on the tables before you can recommend because they change them so much, so fast, too. It's hard to keep up with them.
Yeah.
But right now,
Caesars.
Bellagio's are great. Caesars, Tintin has a particular table that Caesars he just loves. He's just beating him to death on it.
I've never had any table that I didn't like at Bellagio. I've had people tell me they have certain ones. They'll give me the number, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Well, inevitably, I don't even know where the numbers are located on them, so I just go play a table. But I don't recall ever being on a bad table at Bellagio.
As far as the way the dice behave.
I've had bad tosses. I may have had a bad session, but the tables are always consistent.
Right.
Seems to me like. Last time I was there was November, and that was the first time in 3 years. But I mean, every time I've ever been there, I had a long row. Had the table by myself, 10 ton, and another guy was standing there just watching, and I'm just like killing it.
Nice.
But in fact, I went back with Toranaga
Right.
one night, and Toranaga had a hell of a roll. After the class, after our meetup,
Right.
our event, whatever you want to call it.
Then
he
you guys
had
ended up at Cromwell,
heck
did
of
you?
a roll.
You ended up at
We
Cromwell,
did.
and that was a girl's birthday, and somebody had a
Yes.
monster roll over there.
She had. I wished I'd been there right before it started, and had. I don't know that I would have bet the repeater bets, but if I had, God,
She was killing it, huh?
I would have made. My God, she hit virtually every. She probably hit 8 out of the 10 repeaters. I mean,
Wow.
and some of them twice.
Wow.
I mean, she just freaking killed that.
Tintin would have loved that.
Oh my God, it was incredible. We just walked up by. We're there to go play it last casino of the trip, and we're just buying in just to get ready. And
Sure.
then she just goes off on this crazy run.
Well, you stepped into a hot
Insane
roll,
what she did.
hot roll hand, and didn't even know it until you got there.
We just
Boom.
didn't know it till we were. And then I'm sitting there with Sweet Lou next to me, and I was kind of explaining to him my betting sequence on how I was going to bet. This is what this bet's for. Like if this field hits, I'm going to go up on something, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept telling him over and over, this is how I'm going to play it. This is how I'm going to play it. And she just kept hitting it. Everything I said I was going to do,
And it came
she just
boom,
hit.
boom, boom. See, laws of attraction.
I mean, I'm going from an $18 six to a $420 six.
That's not too shabby, is it?
Yeah. I got $100 on the extremes. I've gone from $20 to $100 on all the extremes, and that ain't none of it money that I brought with me.
Right.
And she's hitting them.
And the casino provided you with the narrow to put on there. Isn't that amazing?
That's when it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's when it's fun.
When you can't lose.
Yeah, you can't lose because your money and some of their money is in your rack, and they're just playing for more.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it. But,
and your rating goes up.
well, yeah.
They give you the money, and the rating goes up. Hey, double dipping.
Yeah, it just keeps climbing.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, so you've been either banned or kicked out of some casinos there in Vegas, correct?
5.
Only 5. That's a small percentage. That's a small percentage of tables.
Okay. Let's see. Let's back up here. Let's see. The first one was at this is funny. The first one is out there in Summerlin at the Suncoast. Okay, Suncoast Casino.
Okay.
There was a guy that's always just give me all kinds of crap every time I go in there, just for setting the dice. In those days, they were giving you a hassle. I don't call it heat, but just like a fly giving you a problem, right? Well,
right.
I brought Hardway in there with me one day, and he's no longer with us either. He was an in shooter, and he would set the hardways, and he hit more hardways than you were supposed to. So, but he was a big bettor. He bet like 10-10, right? Start out with 640 across. Let's go. So I brought him out there, and I said, yeah, bring us some of your students and blah, blah. I said, okay, fine. First time I brought Hardway out there, he hits them for like 10 or 12,000 on the session. And they got all pissed off. Well, what are you trying? Why do you bring us guys like that? Well, you told me to bring a player. I did. So he beat you. So you're all ticked off, right? Well, after that, I just got more heat from this guy. I said, bring me your boss. Why? I said, because you give me too much crap. Bring me your boss. I want to talk to him. He brings his boss. He says, what's going on? He's complaining about my toss. What do you mean he's complaining about your toss? He doesn't like the way I'm hitting the wall. Will you please tell me that what I'm doing wrong? So I said, watch my throw. So I'm setting the dice. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, there's nothing matter here. Everything's fine. He looked at me and said, so what's the problem? Blah, blah, back and forth, right? So he leaves. So then the guy, pit boss, just hammers me again. I said, I figured out what the problem is. It's not my toss at all. You have the short man complex. You have the little man complex. And he just blew up. Called security, okay? Called security, escorted me out of the casino. I said, wait a minute, I'm not leaving until my wife's with me. It's like 3 a.m. I said, they said, page my wife to the casino. Mrs. Parker, blah, 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 blah. You got to come to the dice pit, blah, blah, blah. And she goes like, oh, God, what did my husband do now, right? So I'm not leaving until you find my wife. So there you go. So that was that story. They said, okay, well, we're not going to let you play here anymore because of that incident right there. Because I called him, he had a short man complex. Talk about an ego thing, right? He's got an ego. Yeah, absolutely. So I said, okay, fine, not a problem. So that was that one. The Gold Coast, and that's owned by Boyd, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, can I go downtown to the Fremont? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I can play any of the Boyd casinos, no problem, except Gold Coast. Gold Coast.
I would consider that a blessing, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, now because it's those tables.
Because I hate playing there.
Yeah.
I hate playing.
Well, I had 4 students, 2 doctors and 2 other students, and they gave me a bunch of credit. They kicked me out because they blamed that I wasn't hitting the wall hard enough. Well, show me where it says how hard you have to hit the wall. So anyway, they kicked me out. So my 2 younger students go, hey, man, ain't it cool our coach got kicked out? I said, no, man, it ain't cool that your coach got kicked out. And the doctors were staying there. They said, we'll never stay here again. This is bullshit. So, blah. Well, I tried to go back after that. I was with Howard one time, I think, and I didn't use my player's card.
Howard loved to play there.
I know, he did. Yeah, he did. I think he liked their ping pong pong restaurant more than anything.
Oh, absolutely, he loved that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I go in and I buy it for like $500. I didn't use my player's card. They gave me the chips, and they looked at me and they go, Where's your player's card? I said, I don't have one. Well, why don't I see your driver's license then? And I said, he said, well, I want to see your get my driver's license. You know you can't play here. I said, okay, then color me up. I'll leave. No, we're not going to color you up. Take the chips to the cage. $100 with free. I had to take this pile of chips They made me take the chips to the cage. They wouldn't color them up. They always want to color them up, right? That's crazy.
Absolutely. They want the small change left for the other players.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
so
ridiculous.
The other one was Tuscany, which I was with Soft Touch and Hardway on that deal. And those are the days where we were it was early in the morning. We bought in. We each go $640 across. And in a small casino, that's almost $2,000, $1,860, whatever. Soft Touch has the dice. He's kept a nice toss, hitting numbers. After about a 6 roll, they stop the game. They go, well, we're gonna have to stop this game. And I thought they were kidding, right? I said,
you're right in the middle of a roll.
I said, look, we're not even warmed up yet. I said, give us a chance. We're not even warmed up yet. It's only 6 rolls into the hand. That's what we're afraid of, that you're not warmed up yet. The game is over. They brought security, said, color up, go to the cage. We don't want your business anymore. Oh, you're serious. We're serious. So, okay, so we get in the car. We go over to Texas Station when it was Texas Station is no longer there either because they imploded it. So Hardway knew the casino manager. Well, they sent out memos to all the casinos about us three setting dice, blah, 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 not banned in the black book or anything, but just watch out for these characters, right? So we go there and we got to the front door of the casino. The manager, he says, oh, you guys are popular today. And we go, what do you mean? So we just got this memo from Tuscany over there. Holy crap. But that's okay. You can come in here. We'll let you play. However you want to play, we'll let you play. So what a difference, right? It's crazy. Just crazy.
Customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Treasure Island. We got booted out of there. Oh, yeah, because of that one role I told you about earlier in this broadcast, when Tommy was there, we took between all of us like $150,000 off the table. But he, divided by 5, 6 of us. So they didn't get upset about that. They comped us all a nice dinner and all that. Please come back again. They were really nice. But then I went in after that, about 3 weeks later, with a couple of students on a Saturday night, and I had a nice long roll. I made about $18,000. I did $18,000 3 weeks in a row. And they said, okay, you're done. You're done. And by then I had about $1,000 in my comps. And I had some students with me. And I said, you know what? As soon as I walk out the door, my comps are going to be gone. So let's go to the steakhouse. I'll cover the first $1,000. We're going to order wine, steaks, whatever you guys want. Anything over that, it's on you guys. Okay, let's have some fun. So we spent about 3-4 hours in the steakhouse. We melted that $1,000 down to zero, right? So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so those are the
that is a concern if you win a lot at one place. Do you think in today's world, do you think they're going to run you off, or do they want you to come back so they can try to get it back?
If I keep telling Tintin this, he's going to get himself into trouble here one of these days, because if he bangs them too hard too often, they're going to back you off because they don't know if that day is going to happen. They like the action. Right. Don't get me wrong. They like the action, but they want to win more than they lose, of course, right? It's a business.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're going to be too consistent and you're doing boom, boom, in and out, especially if you're only like playing an hour and leaving. If maybe you're sitting there playing 10, 12 hours, that's a different story because, it's going to go against you eventually. But the way he's playing,
too long, you're going to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Time's on their side. They know that. But if you're hitting and running, boom, boom, and taking them boom, boom for several thousand at a time, even in today's world, I think they're going to back you off. That
scares me sometimes, too. I think about that at times.
Yeah. Now, if you're making a lot of money on some of these...
At my favorite places.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I told Tindon, he needs to go at different times of the day, not the same crew all the time. I know they love you. They appear to love you, but they want your business and they want your money more than they love you.
Yeah. And he probably needs to play different tables than just the same table with the same crews.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You need to mix it up a little bit.
Even if it's break even, call that a win.
Sure. Hey, I'll tell you what. A lot of times, when you're playing, even is all you're going to get.
Yeah.
Even is all you get. So don't stay there. If I'm playing an hour or an hour and a half and I'm even, I'm out of there because that's the best it's going to get on that particular session.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Any other places before we go on to the
Well, the Win
questions?
is the last one. I can't play at the Win. It's not because I had a monster.
I've never set foot in the Win. For all those at the Win Casino that are watching this, I've never set foot in there.
Well, the tables are good over there. The tables are good. Well, I first started playing at the Win. Half the crew came from Treasure Island.
Oh, my God.
See what I'm saying? So they knew me right
Yeah.
off the bat from Treasure Island. That was part of the problem. And then they stopped me for this. Okay, we're going to let you play, but you can't shoot. Okay. That's fine. So then I started playing on other shooters, and I was winning. And they go, okay, we don't even want you playing here anymore because you're winning. I said,
Right.
I'm not winning that much. We don't even want you here. You can come in the casino. You can play any game you want, but you can't play craps. Can you believe that? But now check this out. I go to Encore, the sister
The same next door.
Right.
Yeah, same.
all
Yeah.
the same company. Not a problem. Not a problem. So what's up? Depends on what side of the bed you get up on, right? And that's it.
I guess it is. I mean, I'm leaving Biloxi. This is how quick they know stuff. I'm leaving Biloxi on New Year's morning. I've had my free brunch, whatever, me and the wife, we've had our New Year's brunch, and then we're back to Alabama. I'm about 30 miles down the road. I get a text from my host. I see you took $12,000 off the table last night. Then she goes, do you know how much your host loves you?
Yeah, they get paid on a theoretical, don't they?
Yeah. And I said, my reply was, I hope my play was sufficient
To get a call.
to benefit you. And what did I say? To benefit you and kept my ADT. And she went, oh, yes, and absolutely yes. That's what was her response.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
So, yeah, I called her in fact, I talked to her this morning. This is way off, but I'll leave this in here because this is how you can develop relationships with people. My mom and dad are, mom's 87, dad's 86. In fact, mom just got out of the hospital because of a oxygen issue.
Mm.
And she's got PD, and she had an infection. She almost had pneumonia. She got in the hospital early, which was good, and they got her taken care of over here in Birmingham, but she lives like an hour and a half away. They've been after me for a couple of years. We want to go to Biloxi. We want to go to Biloxi.
They ever been there?
They've never been there. And they've played Tunica, then COVID, and they kind of lost status with the Boyd people up there, and then they kind of switched over to the Choctaw Indian place over in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Okay.
In fact, Dad kind of became friends with the chief because he sent him a scathing letter one day. Yeah, really, the chief of the whole place. I mean, he sent him that's a story. He can get a suite anytime, and the assistant vice president of casino operations is their host.
Wow. Nice.
Because of the letter he sent. I mean, she called him, said, Mr. Robinson, the chief just had every manager from every department in this casino come to the conference room. He handed them a copy of your letter and read that out loud to them and said, this is not how we treat our guests.
Did you want them to come
And
back?
then he pointed at me and said, I am now your host. So he can get a suite anytime he wants to in Philadelphia. But anyway, so I called my host today. I told her, I said, I'm trying to bring my parents down, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is their age. They've never been there. They're just going to play slots. No idea what their level of play is. Could care less. None of my business. She said, would you like a suite with an adjoining room?
There you go.
And I'm like, really? She went, yeah. I said, perfect. That would be, I said, I don't want to be too far away from them. Perfect. That'd be great. Thank you.
That's awesome.
It's all set up.
Beautiful.
So you build these relationships,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's what you need to do.
I don't know if she's on my side or the casino side, but it doesn't really matter. I'm getting what I want. An opportunity to play and doesn't cost me nothing.
Well, she's actually on both sides because she gets the check
Yeah,
from them. She wants
really
to keep
is.
you happy. She wants to keep them happy.
Yep.
It's a fine line.
And I know at her level of being a host, she's been there a long, long time. I'm low on her totem pole, but I don't give her any grief. I don't ask for
Sure.
anything special, really. You know, I just like, hey, I'm coming down, need a room.
That's all you need.
She gave us a suite. She gave us a suite over New Year's.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. We were there from Sunday through Wednesday. I was not expecting a suite. I was just expecting a room. That's all I get there and I'm having a suite.
Nice.
So,
Just adds to it.
you know,
So she
I
likes
like
you.
it.
She likes your play.
Yeah.
You're doing fine. Likes your play.
Last time I talked to her, which was over a year ago, my ADT was like 750, and I bet it's higher now.
Cool.
I know it's got to be higher. Supposedly, that's a good number. She said, don't let that drop. You're doing good. I'm like, I don't know nothing about this. I just bet.
And just keep betting. Just keep like it. Don't change a thing. Increase your units.
When I went black chips on the extremes, and then, you know, all those green
That'll do
chips
it.
piled up in
They
the
love
middle. That got me on that crapless table the other night.
Well, you're hitting them.
I hit them too.
That's beautiful.
I'm hit them too, buddy.
That's nice.
I hit them with their money.
That's
the
even
difference.
nicer.
I hit them with my money.
It's nice because
I hit them with their money.
Well, you had zero at risk. Zero at risk.
My money was locked up.
Exactly.
I'm with their money at that point.
Well, you had their money the day before.
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah.
I had their money. I had their money 20 minutes after I walked in there because I hit that stupid slot machine while I'm waiting on my room to get ready. Yeah, I hit $5,000,
well,
20 minutes.
If they had the room ready, you would have been there. You would have done it. So thank them.
If the room had been ready,
you'd have been there.
Had been ready, I'd have been upstairs unpacking.
So they gave you a suite plus $5,000.
They really, really did.
They gave you a suite.
That's the absolute truth.
Otherwise, you would not have been there.
Suite and $5,000 to play with.
That's right.
I locked my money up plus some of that $5,000 in the safe and never opened that safe until I was leaving that place on Wednesday morning.
How sweet is that?
That's beautiful.
Yeah, but you can't repeat that every time.
No, then they'll get mad at you.
Yeah, then that's when it's problematic.
Yeah. All right. So now, you know, if you're playing slots and you hit, that ain't nothing but dumb luck.
Exactly.
But I'll take dumb luck anytime I can get it.
Especially on slots.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely.
Well, even in dice, dumb luck is if you hit the chips or somebody's hand or something and you don't hit a 7 and you hit a number, especially a high-paying number you got a lot of money on, that's kind of more luck than skill, obviously, but I'll take that.
I had $25. I had $25, talking about hitting chips. I had $25 for me and on 4 and 10 and $5 for the dealers on the hard 4 and 10. I hit these guys' chips. He had set them down right in my landing zone. I'd been tossing right over them, just right over them. You know. Suckers landed short and landed right on top of his stack.
Explosion.
22.
22.
22.
Bente dos. There you go. Divine retribution.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how can you just luck? That's just dumb luck.
Yeah.
That's just nothing but dumb luck.
Hey, I'll take it.
What are your favorite places now? I mean, we talked about I like Cromwell still. You still like Cromwell?
Yeah, I like Cromwell. Yeah, I like Cromwell on the Strip. I like Cromwell. I like, obviously, Bellagio. There's a couple tables at Aria I like. Then the
Really? Other than that one, you like the one that's over there behind the post by itself.
Yeah, remember that one that we were at?
Yep.
And Jesse was there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And those
good old Jesse.
Two $1,000 promo
those
chips.
Those $1,000 bets on the 2 and 12.
Yeah, the promo chips. And then
could not talk.
And then he gets the dice and he hit a boom, just like that. Yeah. Crazy. But he ended up with after you left, he ended up with a nice long roll. And he had everything covered. I mean, he had tons of money out there. He made some really serious money.
You stayed up late that.
Yeah, I got to bed at like 2:30 in the morning.
And we had a class at 8 o'clock. We had to be at 10 times.
I know.
At 8
I was numb.
I was
numb. I was numb, dude.
That was the reason I left, was because I got to be at that event the next morning. You know.
I know, but I wanted to give these guys support. I want to give them support, right? So there you go. So that's why I stayed up with them.
But I was with Sweet Lou, and me and him stopped at 3 places on the way back.
I know, that's not going to bed though. Same thing.
Yeah,
right?
but we were working. I was working my way back to the Paris.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I was closer to my room at Aria than you were yours across the street, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You're in the same place.
Exactly.
So what's going on with Dice Coach? You got dicecoach.com.
Right.
You offer classes.
For classes
throughout the week.
So 7 days a week, whatever. I try to accommodate the clients. It doesn't make any difference to me. Every day is a Saturday. Doesn't matter. So if you want a class, if you know you're coming to Vegas and you want to take a class, call me, text me, email me. All the information is on the website, www.dicecoach.com. and we'll figure out your schedule. I try to accommodate the client's schedule. So preferably like to start at 9 or 10 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon for the afternoon classes. We'll take anywhere from a single player to you bring a group and we'll accommodate. Now, when I have a group of like 8 or 10, I actually hire 2 Las Vegas dealers to deal to them to do a regular game along with teaching them to make it really interesting.
That's nice.
And that works out really, really well. Because the dealers like it when they come. I have particular dealers that I use because I pay them more than they make in the casino, so they're really happy with that. And then a lot of times if they do a real good job, I teach the players how to tip the dealers, and at the end of the whole gig, they end up tipping the dealers a nice tip. So they get double paid sometimes.
What's your favorite way of tipping dealers?
Well, when I'm shooting, I like to put a bet on my bet, just cap it and put a bet next to it. So if, for instance, like if you have a $25 bet, minimum bet, put $1 on top of the deal, $1 next to it. So you hit a 7 or 11, just for instance, 7 or 11, you get your money, you get $2. The dealer's going to get $2. The $2 that you just gave them are replaced by the $2 that you had there. So doing it that way, you've tipped them. I call it, that's the way the house tips them. Another way I'll do it is if I bet a hard way, I'll piggyback it. That's player control. Or if there's a couple of hot numbers that I've on there, I'll bet them with me on the hot numbers. That's the best way to do it, in my mind.
I snow cap. That's what I.
Yeah, you can call it snow cap. It's capping. Cap your bet, and then put the same amount next to it.
So if it's like a $15 table.
Yeah.
I got my pass line, and I put $2 on top of mine, $1 beside. Right?
You can put 1 on
So,
1. It'll come out.
I could put 1 and 1, but I always put 2.
Okay. Why is that?
That throws them off. That makes them, I got a reason, but it's weird and it's kind of superstition at this point. So I just do 2.
Okay.
All right. But, think about it. All right. So if they hit the 7 right up, right? Because I'm going to give them odds. I always give them odds. Could be $1, could be $2, could be $6. Depends on where we're at in the hand and how well things are going.
Yeah.
So if I throw a 7 or 11, they're going to snag that front line, right? Then I got to replace it, but I still want some money. Then the casino just gave me money to give them odds. That's why I do it. Yeah, that's just stupid, but I know it's just one of those things. I just do it all the time now. I just it throws them off. I always like to watch them look down and figure it out.
Exactly.
They've got 2 there, not 1, but whatever. And then I'll do some place bets for them as well.
If you're up
on that run I had on crapless. Yeah, if it starts developing and I'm building up and I'm collecting, if you collect 110, 105 or something, you might as well, give them the 5 to place that number, or give them 6 to place that number. If I bet hard ways, I generally will always throw them up there as a 2-way on something, at some number. But I was doing 25 and 5 at one point for a good while, and we were hitting, and I'd go 50. I'd say, here's you 10, just keep them going, and then I even had them up $5 or $10 on the extremes.
Nice.
In Biloxi, by the way, it's kind of weird. I found this out all these times I've played there, and I finally asked them, I said, I'm killing 5s and 9s, and you haven't pressed. And they were like, you haven't given us permission to press.
You got to tell them.
And I said, who do I got to tell to give you permission to press? You got to tell the box. I said, box, from now on, anytime I give a dealer money, they got permission to do whatever the hell they want to. They can collect or they can press, whatever they want to do. And so from then on, they just kept stacking up, They were having a good time. So anyway, we got off topic again. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hey, that's good. That makes a good story, right?
So you like that pressing. I mean, you like that. That's how you.
Yeah, and if I give them odds, what I'll do is
tip the dealers.
Let's say there's their $1 on the pass line, right? Say I put $5 behind it. I'll take the same $5 and put it on my odds as well. When they get paid, they're going to get up $13, and I'll get the same 13 back on that side bet. So that'll work out good. Then I get my original money. So I'm giving them 13. I get the same 13 back. It's like You know, you're not going to just arbitrarily throw them $13 just for the hell of it. Doesn't work that way. And my theory is if you wait till the end of the game, they don't know if you're going to tip or not, or if you're just going to give them some chump change. That doesn't do you any good. So if they're in the game with you, and there's a couple of discretionary calls, more than likely go in your favor if they're, you know, good people
I always give a hand in anyway.
at the end.
Yeah, but they enjoy being in the game.
Oh, yeah,
That
they want to
gives
play
them
too.
something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Because they're there working, and they're working with a bunch of dummies and idiots and everybody drunks, all those kind of people. They enjoy being in the game.
Sure. Well, a lot of them play. They're players.
Yeah, and that bet may lose, but they're willing to take that gamble versus just a hand in.
That's right.
Of course, now when we do a private table like you did and like I do down here, we give a hand in up front, and then we have actually when my private tables in Biloxi, we have designated bettors. They never even shoot the dice,
Okay.
and they're designated not only to make their bets but to make sure there's always dealer action.
Cool. That way there's no problem.
In case somebody forgets or the shooter's too busy, you know, because sometimes, I mean, let's face it, if you get into a long roll and you're concentrating, you're trying to stay in that groove, you may forget to do a dealer bet or press up.
That's true.
So the other guy's job is then at that time to make sure the dealers are getting bet. That's kind of how we organize one down there. I mean, we got designated shooters, we got designated bettors, and just players.
That's good.
At least 3 or 4 rounds around the table, and then we'll swap it up. If somebody's ready to bail as a shooter, then we bring in
New shooter.
next.
Yeah.
Bring in somebody else that's good at that position. We're really, really good at organizing a table, getting everybody mapped out. This is your job. We have a meeting before we even get on the table. This is your job. If you got a problem, don't get on the table.
True.
Right? So
Right.
here's this person, this person, this person. These 3 are on the left, these 3 are on the right, 2 from straight out, and everybody else is just
They got
there
a designated
to play.
job.
The guy, and then the guys in the turn over there, y'all not going to shoot, right? Right. You're going to bet, and you're going to make sure there's dealer bets. No problem.
And make sure there's no chips in a way. Got a block. You got a couple blockers out
there's
there.
never. Well, we're all on the same table. We're all a team. We're all together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never any chips. Never any chips in the way.
Shoot a cannon down there and not hit a chip.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless you're a bad shot. We had one guy had a 26 roller. He kept hitting the guy's place bet on the 10
Oh, are you kidding me?
every time. It was like, no, it was just off. I don't know. He was just off. I don't know. But he had a 26 roller. We're like, don't you dare change your bet on that 10.
No kidding. And keep hitting that chip.
leave it where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Crazy.
but yeah, crazy stuff happens, but we love it. All right,
that's
so
what
we
keeps you
covered
coming back to the
bets.
game. Keeps you coming back to the game.
Yeah. What have I not covered that we should talk about?
Well, see, as far as tables, we were on the table thing. Downtown, the Fremont tables, that's a 14-foot table, but it's got a nice true bounce to it. Excuse me. That's the only table that I'll play on down there right now. In my mind, that's the only playable table.
It's a hard surface, if I remember correctly.
Very hard. Yeah, very hard. You can hear the dice just, you can hear it snap, which is nice. The dealers are reasonably good. There are no problems. So it's all cool. And there's a
Any
MGM
other place down? I mean, I don't like downtown. I mean, downtown's cool because it's downtown, but I realize they're there to take advantage of tourists.
You're going to get
Well,
more
I
tourists.
tend to-
You get more of the lower end players down there because there's cheaper games. But on the Strip, the old Imperial Palace, what's that now? That's the Link. The Link. Okay, they've got a couple good tables in there, and those.
The Link has always had hard surface tables.
Yeah,
I haven't always had great luck there. I mean,
Sure.
I've had some good runs, or I've been with other players that had good runs.
right.
But I have found that their tables are, you can hear them clack most of the time on
Yep.
those tables there.
So you go to the Link. You go up to. I don't like Harrah's. I don't like.
I don't either.
No, I go up.
I don't know if it's the persona of Harrah's, the clientele of Harrah's, or whether it's the tables. I don't know what it is, but
there's something going on in there.
I've never had fun at Harrah's.
No. Cromwell, going up the same ladder there. I'm not that fond of Planet Hollywood. 10 Ton seems to like it, but I've never done well at Hall. Have you been there? Did you play there at all?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Played there with Memo one morning, right before we.
Well, you did pretty good, didn't you?
Sunday morning, actually. We did okay. Wasn't fantastic. Table got kind of crowded, and that's always a problem, even though it was early.
Sure.
But I don't have a problem per se with playing there. I've played there on, I think, 3 of the tables.
Sure.
It kind of depends on the vibe of the table. Maybe it's the metaphysical piece that I'm always missing. I've had good runs, bad runs, like any place else.
Sure.
But I won't avoid it.
Right. And Caesars, I like Caesars. A couple tables there are pretty good. Some of the newer casinos, I've been in Durango. I've not shot there. I've gotten mixed reports.
I played there.
Did you like it?
Hard to say, dude. I was like, the crapless table was really bouncy.
Okay. We know all about bouncing.
There's a regular table, and then right at the end of it is a crapless. I bought in at the crapless because it was empty, and it was bouncy. Did not like it. Colored up, moved next door, but I had to shoot from straight out, which is out of position, and it was a better table. So I would go back, but I would want to play that table or see if there was something else open just to check them out. The crapless table was really bouncy. I did not like it.
Yeah.
Not as bouncy as Aria or anything. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I just
yeah,
did not like it. Did not like the bounce.
What'd you think about how light it was in there? I mean, it's like bright light, the brightest casino I've ever been in. Just like
it is bright.
And a lot of reflection.
Bright.
A lot of white. There's a lot of reflection in there.
Now you need your hat on when you're in there just to keep the lights out of your eyes.
I had my hat. I had this hat. You see this hat here? It says, what does it say there? It's a shooter, right?
Shooter.
Yeah, I was wearing that hat. I was wearing that hat when I was with when we had that. I had that class with 10 Ton. We had a couple students with us.
Yeah.
And I had that hat on, and the pit boss comes over and talks to me and goes, "Oh, are you the shooter?" And I forgot I had that hat on. What are you talking about? He said, "Well, you got the shooter hat on." I said, "Oh, okay." Yeah. I said, "Sometimes." And so we were waiting for 10 Ton because he had to go to the bathroom, right? I had to hold the game up till 10 Ton. He said, "Well, why don't we give him the hat?" I said, "He don't need the hat." They said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I give him the dice." And that's when he started. He and I were arguing back and forth who's going to shoot first, right? I said, "No, we waited for you. You're going to be the shooter." And that's when he caught it, just boom, boom, lit him up when he hit the talls. Yeah, he hit the talls twice and missed the smalls by the aces. That was awesome. That was just awesome. I looked at the pit. He looked at me. I said, "See, he didn't need a shooter hat." So that was all good.
Right.
But you don't want to take too much stuff. Well, that's when we had our casino tier shirts and stuff on. Well, I don't like to advertise all that much because it could create a problem as far as attention. You don't want to create that much attention to you. I used to have dicecoach.com shirts printed up. That was a no-no. Yep. Don't do that. Don't.
Probably
do
was.
That.
That's probably a bad idea.
That's probably a bad idea. Here comes the .comers, right? As you say, here comes the .comers.
I've got pit bosses down in Biloxi wearing the hunting license.
Are you serious?
I am serious. I mean, they love it down there.
Oh my God.
They're like, we're part of his group.
There you go.
And they're pit bosses, but they're wearing our casino tiers hunting license down there.
We probably have more hunters in the South than we do out here, probably, number one.
We do. We probably do. Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool. I think they have a different look at their patrons down there than they do here. I think they're too serious here, I think, in Vegas. They like it because they want your money. Down there's a lot more. It's the Southern hospitality. Because every time I'd been down there, it was enjoyable. I mean, they treat you fine. They treat you totally different.
Even at the stodgy places, they treat you fine compared to most places in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Beau Rivage,
right?
I know you've stayed and played there.
Yep.
That's probably one of the more stodgy, uppity kind of places. I mean, it's a great facility. It's the Bellagio of the South.
Exactly. Only smaller version.
Yeah, and the dealers are always top notch. They're on top of their game, but they have little personality. You know, they're a little more dried and cut,
Sure.
and just kind of playing the game, getting through with it. You know, it's just go next door to the Hard Rock, and they're rocking, they're making bets, and they're having a good time. And yeah, it's different. It's different. Harrah's can be either way down there. You can have the right crew, you can have the wrong crew. The IP, which used to be the Imperial Palace,
yep.
They've got good crews. They got super hard tables, hard by hard surface. I mean, clack, clack, clack.
Wow.
Every table is just the same.
Do they have anything under the felt besides the felt?
If they do, it's real thin. I mean, it clacks. I mean, it's hard. And so I have a love-hate relationship because I'm not used to throwing on super hard tables.
Right.
Hard surface tables. And so it takes an adjustment. So you can either get it figured out or you just got to just leave. That's the way I look at it.
You can figure
try it.
Yep. If you can't figure it out, you got to leave.
Yep. That's what I do.
Perfect.
There's one down there still got traditional felt on all their tables.
Are you serious?
They don't use microfiber. Yep.
Wow.
In fact, Hard Rock has a 14-foot regular craps table as of this moment. Still got the traditional felt on it. I love that table.
Nice.
But it's a 14-footer. It's
Okay.
a 14-footer. Traditional table, no bonus bets. Love that table.
Does it have the big
played
6 and 8 on
a
it?
lot. Yes, it does.
That's how old it is then. It's an old table. Then it's an old layout because you hardly see any big 6 and 8s anymore.
Actually, they've got it on all their microfiber tables.
Did they really?
Yep. They still do.
The only time I've been
there.
a big 6 and 8 is if you get these promo chips or promo little printouts. You got to use those on an even money bet, and you got to use them on a non-traveling bet. So put them on the 6 and 8. That seems to work out pretty good.
I do that every time there. I get my free play. They split my coupons up. So when I'll set a point. If the point's 6, I don't place odds. I just place a coupon on the big 6, and then I place a coupon on the big 8, bet the 5 and 9. That's all my money's out there. We'll see if I can win the free money first.
There you go.
At the IP, which is a Boyd property, you get your coupon out of the machine, then you got to go to the cage, and they give you promo chips.
Okay.
And you can use that on any even money bet. They have no big 6 or big 8. So you can use it on pass line if you want, or you can use it on the come bet.
Okay.
It travels, obviously, but it's still an even money bet. At Hard Rock, if you use the coupon, and I did this on the crapless because they don't have the big 6 or 8 on the crapless. You put it on the pass line. I said, can I put odds on that? And they said, you got to put something down on top of the coupon. So you put $5 down. We got 10 times odds, and you can just load it up.
Perfect.
You put $5 on top of the coupon. I cannot emphasize how much I enjoy 10 times odds. IP is 20 times odds.
Wow. Well, it's great when you're hitting them.
Yeah, but if you set that point and that's one of your numbers,
yeah,
I got to go close to 10, if not 10 times odds on them, just because. I mean, you
can hit it more times than not.
It's just too good of a payout, and the odds tend to be in my favor, I think.
There you go. Have you noticed, like the table games, particularly like blackjack or some of the table games like downtown at Boyd in Vegas? The last time I played a table game there, what color coming in, and they put it in their computer, and they gave me a printout of a piece of paper. It didn't take any chips to the cage. They gave me out of a slot machine. Here's your, like if you hand in $450 worth of chips, here comes a little piece of paper out. And they keep the chips on the table, go to the cage and get your $450. They're starting to do that now.
I've heard of that. I have not seen it.
Yeah, there's only a couple of times now. They say they're going to start doing it on craps too. So the problem I got with that.
I've heard that.
Problem is this. So say you end up winning 15 or 20,000, and they give you one piece of paper with $20,000 on it. Okay, now it becomes problematic, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, well, give me two.
It really does.
Give me two papers, 10 each. 99.99.
Yeah.
Anything to mess everything up. I don't know. Another way of keeping track of stuff, I guess.
Yeah, because they like to keep track of those big chips. I guess they're going to keep track of that too. If you come in with a couple of $5,000 chips, they want to know where you picked them up at, where you won at, where you were playing, what your player's card. Yeah, absolutely.
Creates attention.
It is what it is. Yep. I went in a morning after some play, and I'd kept $1,200 in chips in my pocket. And I decided instead of going to the table, I was going to go to the cage. And, well, where did you get these? I was like, well, I was on the craps table last night.
There you go.
She went, and she colored them up or cashed them out. But they always ask these questions at times. My favorite question is do you have a marker you need to pay off? And I go, I don't use markers. So I love it when they ask you that question.
But I always tell them, I don't have any markers, but my name is Parker, and they get Parker and marker mixed up every once in a while. And one other place on the strip, Park MGM.
Never been in it.
Those tables should be playable as well. Now, New York, no bueno. Those are like when the dice hit the diamonds, the rubber in the back is like a boomerang. They don't even need a stick, man. They come right back to you. So that's just totally random.
So if I asked you who some of your favorite people to play with have been or are, I know Debbie Soft Touch is going to be at the top of the list somewhere.
Sure.
And I'm going to bet Sharpshooter has been in that list.
Yeah. When he was in town, we'd hook up. Debbie, Sharpshooter, Hardway. Those are the main people.
From back in the day. Speak.
Debbie doesn't play that much now. Sharpshooter's been emailing me here lately, back and forth a little bit to see what's going on. But as far as
I'd like to meet him. Never met him. Bring him to the cocktail party.
There you go.
I'd like to meet him.
We have a big party, right? He's a nice guy. He's an engineer by trade. Yeah. And love playing with 10-ton. He's a blast to play with. You never know what you're going to get.
But he's always going to be.
He is
ecstatic or whatever. I mean, he's a guy.
He's a work in progress here as far as discipline. We gotta.
Always. Yeah.
I keep telling them. I said, dude, we need to slow your roll a little bit here, because that one time, the session that I was with him with when, what's his handle? Barry. What's Barry's handle?
Pappy Van Winkle.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah, that's Bellagio. He 10-ton within $400 of being even. I said, let's get the hell out of here.
He should have been like,
nope.
Done.
Nope. He said, nope, we got to keep playing. We need to get off the table now. Nope. Yeah, he had a bad hand. Boom. There you go. Okay.
So, back in the hole.
There you go. So, hey, you got to say uncle sometimes.
Sometimes, if you're in a deep hole.
And you get close to even.
A little bit down is a win.
That's a big win.
Get out of there, folks.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen out there watching, get off the table.
Tomorrow is another day.
Make it up another trip.
That's right. And another trip for him. He lives there. Another trip to him.
I know.
He goes out the front.
I
know. Goes out the front door and he's back. That's his next trip.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
So, yeah. But I'm selective of who I play with. I mean, I'd play with you, because I've seen you toss. There's a few students. There's some students that will sign up for a private class with a casino session. And I'll be frank with them. If they're not ready for the casino, don't waste your money for a private class with a casino session. Save your money.
Yeah.
Because you're not ready for the casino session yet. You need to do this, this, and this before you do that. And they appreciate that. Or sometimes they'll extend the class time and not go to the casino. But if they're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go see what we can do.
Yeah.
And I like these questions too. Well, if I take your class, can you guarantee me a win? Dude, I can't guarantee me a win. How can I guarantee? I don't even know I don't know how you bet. I don't know your discipline. How long are you going to play? Oh, I like to play 5 or 6 hours. Well, then no, I definitely won't guarantee you a win. So I guarantee you this. I'll teach you something that you don't know before you got here. And I said, if I can't, you don't have to pay me. How about that? Oh, really? Because I've had people call me up. I've been shooting dice for 30 years. What can you teach me? Tell you what, if I can't do my job right, then you don't have to pay me. Boom. I've never not been paid, Ed. That's kind of cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other people. I like playing with Banker Dude. You've probably
Banker Dude.
played
Yeah,
with
he's
Banker
good.
Dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Memo.
Straight out. Memo. Love playing.
Yeah.
Memo's just positive guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah.
Aloha, Johnny.
Aloha. Yeah, he's good. He's good to play with. Yep.
When he gets on hard ways, I can watch him setting those dice, and he's twisting, he's turning, he's thinking through, and then all of a sudden you see a hard way, you might as well get on him because he's going to start shooting for hard ways every time.
Pappy Van Winkle, he's a good guy to play with.
Pappy is good.
He's coming to our next class, He's coming to our March class.
Yes, look forward to that.
That'll be good.
Best blocker, I played with him. It's been 3 or 4 years now. He came into Vegas when I was there, but he had just had some kind of injury or surgery. I forget, but there was an arm issue. He said, Ed, I'm just going to block for you all week. I said, no problem. I never hit a chip the whole 5 days I was there.
Of course not. There was none there to
Greatest
hit.
blocker.
Of course, none there to hit.
Greatest blocker in North America.
There you go. Perfect.
But I've also played with him when he was shooting, and he's a heck of a shooter. He can put a hand together in a hurry.
Yep.
Who else?
Because you have to be selective, and especially the way you bet too. You got to qualify them. Just because
every time,
just because you had a good hand yesterday doesn't mean you're gonna have a super duper hand today. So you just gotta.
Or just because you're the dice coach doesn't mean we need to load
I tell
up
people
on
that.
you.
I said, look bet how I bet going in because I'm very conservative. Because if I always say, if you can't be good, be quick. If I point 7 out, I hate it when he's 7 out on the fifth roll. That's a killer. If I'm going to 7 out on the fifth roll, please let me 7 out on the very second roll, right?
Yeah, because then you got nothing on the table.
That's right. You paid rent. It cost you. I'm not a big proponent of come bets, but if you point 7 out too much, I'd do a come bet. Then you break even for sure.
Yeah.
Set a point.
That's why you'll see me a lot of times from the first few hands of a new table or first hands of a day.
Try a come bet.
Field bet and a come bet just to see what's happening.
Hit a yo, baby. You win them both.
Well, it's the old Mississippi crap check. You know what a Mississippi crap check is?
I'm going to learn right now.
You're going to learn. All right, so let's just say you got a quarter table. You got $25 on the pass line, and you want to hedge it against craps number, make a field bet.
There you go.
For a quarter.
There you go.
Even money on the field.
There you go.
That's the Mississippi crap check.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That works the same way on a come bet. That would work the same way.
Work it the same way. Absolutely. So that's why I do a field bet, come bet a lot of times on the second toss.
So every time you do that, you think of Mississippi.
Yeah, absolutely. Mississippi crap check.
I love it.
All right, so we'll wrap it up a little bit, I guess. But all right, so you and I have coached one event together.
It was awesome.
It was a hell of a time.
It was great. Well, we don't agree on everything, but we do it in a likable way, without trashing the other guy, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So it makes it fun. It makes it fun for each of you and I think the students get a hoot out of it too.
They get two different perspectives that are all trying to do the same thing,
exactly.
Which is win-win.
The end result.
We worked on tosses. We worked on betting. We didn't get into war stories. We spent 8 hours of table class time.
That's right, because we do the war stories at the meet and greet.
Yeah, the meet and greet.
Yeah,
how can you beat that night?
That was fun. That was great.
I mean, you can't beat that night.
No, that was awesome.
You give me high dollar bourbon and a place to drink it where I ain't got to drive afterwards. I'm all in.
Well, I see our budget was $1,980 for high dollar bourbon.
Yeah, it was high.
It was high.
We spent some money on bourbon.
There we did.
But it was a great time, and we'll do it again in March.
Well, the folks had a good time, too.
We've also got one in October.
That's right.
We've already got people signed up for that one.
3.
I believe.
3. I got 3 for sure. And we've got 8 up for the Saturday in March, We're working on Sunday. That's
Yep,
the
got
7th
Saturday
and
and
8th.
Sunday.
Yep, yep.
I actually delayed my departure date to Tuesday because I'm anticipating us having a pretty full day on Sunday. And we go play with them. We might end up with another private table. Who knows? But it will not be the one we had. I can promise you that.
I guarantee you that, right. The problem with the private table is you're kind of stuck. And if we
You
play,
got a commitment. There's a commitment.
Yeah.
There's a commitment to play, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
that can get expensive. But if we play later on that evening, I believe we'll have a better shot because the casino's going to have all their tables open, and we could even split the class up, and some of us could take some of the students at one table and take them to another table and achieve the same thing. Or we could all get on one table,
agree.
get lucky, get on the same table.
Yeah, you may.
Yes.
You never know.
Yeah. But then we're not married to it.
There's no promises. We're just going to play. We're either going to win or lose or break even.
One or the other. But with the exception of that reserve table, I think everybody ended up winning.
We had winners
All over the place.
We had winners all
We had
over
some
the place.
long rolls.
all
We had some
over the
monster
place.
rolls. That was awesome.
Freaking fantastic rolls.
Yeah.
What I liked the most, and this isn't an advertisement, but it is an advertisement, is we had players after that class go to the tables, repeat what they had just learned, and they all made.
Well,
that's what is fun.
look on the testimonials.
It's not going to happen. You can't guarantee it, but I mean, those folks made some money afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just close. That'll be a great show. All right, so I'll cut it right there. Other than I'm going to say this. Dice Coach, I appreciate you coming in and giving us your story, talking to us, and enlightening and giving some entertainment to the people in the craps community out there. That I do appreciate.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invitation. That's